She was really turning her neck back,
Okay.
like, like it was broken. And, I've Googled all different kinds of things. And that's kind of calmed down. And I was Googling, and she did have a Marek's vaccine. But so I was Googling,
How long did she have the Marek's vaccine?
When she was
Tiny,
a
okay.
day old or whatever. And, yep, and she just keeps flopping, but she got dirty today, and my husband wet her. I mean, it was just mud. I kind of have her in pine mulch, and she's eating scrambled eggs. Not
Has
really.
she been flipping and rolling?
She just only goes to the right, and if you put her down, she'll spin.
Okay.
Like vertigo, which
Yeah.
I've had. And then I went to another doctor who has no idea, but they were trying because I couldn't get, it was just like on a Tuesday or something. And said she had fluid in behind her ear. I guess you read that, right?
I didn't give him the whole rundown.
And
You
so
can
I'm
tell the story again.
Googling all kind of vitamin deficiencies and Marek's and just, I don't know that it would be a displaced anything. And then she's kind of a fancy pants. She's a blue egg layer. And then, I don't know, mold, mildew, fungus, parasites.
I know this. If you put your head this way, just bear with me.
Her eyes are funky, and so she's full of energy, and she's kind of mad at me.
Either.
The what?
The Dex, what you was talking about.
Dexameth or something. They gave her that, like, I thought that was a decongestant, but a steroid. And I have no idea what, they thought it just some inflammatory thing or whatever. Anyway, I feel bad for poor little Madame, but she's completely dependent on me to pick her up and feed her, and
All right.
like I'm kind of just putting a little bowl there, and she can nibble on it, but she likes scrambled eggs.
Okay, well, I'm not actually able to see any fluid back behind the eardrum, but at the same time,
Well, they look with a little, scope or something.
it looked pretty dry what I could see.
Oh, okay.
My thing is that the part of the ear that gets infected and causes this is back even behind that part of the ear, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In the cochlea and so forth. So, and statistically
I
speaking...
had that, and I acted like that. I had vertigo, and it really
You
was...
laid blue eggs?
She likes blue eggs. But,
I'm sorry, I had to go there.
But so that's kind of what it makes me think of, just because I did...
Right.
it was like I wouldn't have believed if I didn't have it, and then that's why it makes me think that. I wasn't moving my neck backwards like wry neck or what, all that kind of stuff.
Right. And that's one of the first signs of this. It's to the point now where she's past that wry neck phase. How long has she been like this?
This probably, yeah, but
You said 2
I
weeks?
missed last Thursday, and so then it's a whole another week,
Okay. As a general rule, there's the part of the ear that's always filled with fluid, okay, just behind the eardrum, and back behind that is where the cochlea is. The cochlea, anatomically speaking, in you and I, looks like a snail, okay?
I remember
And,
that, the anvil.
Well, that's on the other side of it, okay? But you got the right
little
idea.
parts.
So you got your stirrup, your anvil, and so forth. But behind that is the cochlea. And the cochlea actually has little hairs in it, okay? And the fluid is in there. And as you go from left to right, the fluid tries to stay still, and it activates those hairs. And that tells the brain exactly if you're doing this or you're doing this, okay? Sometimes what will happen is there'll be an infection that happens inside there, which means the hairs aren't moving, or it can even be full of pus and inflammation. And the nerves that are in there can be sometimes permanently or temporarily damaged. We like to assume that a large percentage of them are going to be temporarily damaged. The thing is, we just don't know until we start to treat them. So most of my bird patients will come back to a certain percentage, and that percentage has more to do with how long they have been ill. Okay. So if we were looking at this happened yesterday for the first time, I could probably tell you that we'll get 80+% improvement. Okay. But now that we're looking at this going on for longer than a week, then chances are I don't know how much improvement we can get, but I do believe she's worth trying to get that.
So it is an inner ear infection, or
I would at this point in time just basically want to call it an inner ear infection. So what I want to do is two things. One, I want to give her a shot, okay? Two,
of
it'll be an antibiotic, okay, and then I want to send her home with another oral antibiotic that she'll take once a day for the next several days to weeks. 2 weeks, I'm thinking
that's
at
a
most.
powder or something.
It'll be a liquid. I'll make it
Uh-huh.
into a liquid for you.
Well, so I kind of thought it might be that. I have Duromycin 10. I mean, that was an over-the-counter thing before they quit selling
Right, it's
anything like
it's
TNA.
tetracycline, isn't it? Okay.
And I used that when they were babies. They had like somebody was sneezing or whatever.
Right.
And I mean, I did little drops. That was a pain in the ass, but you know that chicken is fine. And I actually just started giving her that just because it was the only thing I had. And there's not a lot
How long?
of bird doctors. I stopped after like 3 days, and that was probably 2 days ago because I called. I don't think it was here. I called trying to find Zaraka, calling everywhere. No one knows anything about chickens except for you and your Thursdays, and I kept calling Vet, and she couldn't help me. And they were like, I called the emergency place in Metairie, and they just said, that's junk, you might as well not even waste your time. And so I just did it because
junk.
I didn't know what else to do.
Well, I wish you'd kind of kept on going because there was a chance, I'm going to give 30-40% chance that would have worked. Okay? The bad news is about that antibiotic is it's what they call a bacterial static antibiotic, which means that it doesn't kill bacteria, it just stops them from reproducing.
Well, it seemed like that it wasn't really for that type of thing.
So you didn't see any improvement after about 3 days?
Well, her neck wasn't going back as much, but no, I didn't see any difference.
Okay.
And it was like other than she hated me, like, I mean, you know, she's just not wanting me to handle her. I was force feeding her with the little dropper. And, I mean, you know, I was doing it, and also I was looking at all that, like, vitamin E stuff and selenium, and I'm like, oh, my God. So I was kind of doing all of it, and I just saw no difference.
Okay.
And I know you're not supposed to start and stop, but they just said that didn't. They shouldn't have really probably said what they said. Like, I'm not happy about that, but they just said that doesn't do anything.
Okay, chances are, like I said, there's a 30-40% chance that might have been the right antibiotic. Okay, but at the same time, it wouldn't have been my first choice.
Right.
Mostly because by the time I get to see a chicken, someone like yourself has already used that antibiotic, so I don't get a chance to prescribe it very often. Okay, because it's already been used.
Well, I'd like to have one so I can save my whole flock.
Okay.
And I want to actually pick your brain if you don't mind. Okay, I'm upset that it's taking so long because I really like Madame, and you know, I mean, I feel bad for her. And I'm neighbors with Matt, and like I've called him occasionally with the chicken thing, and he's like, "You should just wring their neck." I was like, "Okay." So I mean, he's not into our avian thing. So it's funny, but I've just kind of talked to you on the phone a couple of times. And the thing I've wondered about this is I had another chicken that did this about 3 years ago, just flopping to the side. The neck was really spun around. And that hen was being picked on by a wild rooster. Like we have bantams that just kind of, I don't know where they're coming from, like leghorn bantams show up in the yard. But he was just kind of like beating the hell out of her. And I thought like he done something to her neck. I don't know why he was being so mean to her, okay? Because, like, I don't want a damn rooster, but he was really being mean to her. And so I thought, like, she did something to her neck. I took her to the vet, and, I mean, they put her down. But it's the same thing as this. In retrospect, 3 years later, this is, my pet chicken, new back. And then I had one or two chickens that are kind of limping. And I think one I might have really just stepped on her and, hurt her foot or something. But then I'm just wondering, okay, so does everyone have, like fungus in their bones or just some crazy stuff like that? Not that it's a beautiful mind, but I thought I'd just mention I have two of them that are kind of on the lame. One of them just likes to sit down all the time.
Right.
And she walks around. I mean, she's really funny, and she's one of my older 3 or 4 year old ones, and I thought that's just kind of how she is. And my other one, my super duper favorite one, Wilhelmina, she limps a lot. Like, I would even bring her in. I wish she had a dislocated hip, but I think I hurt her. I think she just hurt her foot. So anyway, I know time is of the essence, and I'm like, who else do you call? And then, the people that put her down last time gave her the shot of dexamethasone. And I'm like, that didn't seem right. And then I went back, and they just said, I don't know what to do.
If there's inflammation of the nerve,
dexamethasone
dexamethasone would help that. The bad news is it's not doing anything to cure that inflammation.
Right.
Okay, unless it was a virus or something that was quickly and easily gotten rid of. But chances are that's not the issue. Statistically speaking.
And they're just not avian. They're not thinking avian. Which is fine. But poor Madame. Is that taping Madame?
Mm-hmm.
She's got her beautiful blue eggs and a little poof. There's like Madame Pompadour was the inspiration. But I call her Madame, and her name is actually Madame Alphonse.
Okay.
So you think we're just getting started late?
We are definitely getting started way late, okay? And I'm hoping that we can get her back on her feet. Well, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. You're not here.
I'm here this far, huh?
Yeah. Let's give her a shot. Give her the chance.
And she has been flopping over after the first day. She's been she'll go. It's been since the first day.
That's one of the classic clinical signs of vestibular disease. Yeah.
Oh, say it again?
Vestibular?
Yes, that's one of the things I guess I looked up. So, the trick is, could I have called you and just gotten antibiotics or something? Or you said you wanted to palpate, but you actually...
Well, I was under the impression after our conversation we were looking at something that could be a leg injury. After our conversation...
Talk this time.
This time? Okay, because I've talked to somebody in the last...
And so I don't know.
Okay, so I have another one of these cases coming in then. I've just talked to somebody in the last couple of days that had a chicken with a leg injury.
I did leave a message, and I probably called you when Willie started limping. So, and I thought, she's limping, and she's okay. So I kind of wish. Would you please come over and look at my chickens? I'll feed you some yummy gumbo or something. But anyway, poor Madame. I kind of know I'm spinning my wheels, and I Googled everything, and this is one of the things I came up with without really any ability to know how to deal with it. And I'm upset with myself for stopping that, and I just kind of stopped it. I was like, okay, we'll have an appointment. And that lady saying, you might as well throw that stuff away. I was just like, okay, bedside manner is something to be desired. But then it's also, she's like, it's $110 for you to walk in the door. Out of state. And, so I was not thinking I should drive. I went to New Orleans to see my dad yesterday, but I did not go to the emergency vet.
Okay. Okay, back to the antibiotic. The reason we say that is because by the time I get a chance to see a chicken, someone's already gotten that stuff off from the co-op and used it, and so I don't get a chance.
It's old, right? You can't even get that anymore.
Yeah, it's not off the shelves. It's just you have to have a doctor's prescription now for the stuff. And there's good reasons and there's bad reasons. I remember the good old days, which is basically like this time last year, where I could actually sit there and say, well, if you can't afford to come in, try this antibiotic for about a week, and if it doesn't work, then of course bring them in and we'll try something different. Unfortunately,
I wish I'd called you and heard that. Yeah. Okay, well, so here I am, and I messed it up.
Okay. Anyway, so we don't know how much damage is permanent and how much damage is temporary. Okay, I'm going to choose a drug that's similar to ciprofloxacin, which means if it's anthrax, you're not going to make it, but the burb will do fine. So it's a very, very strong antibiotic. It's really good at making into those nerve tissue areas, and it'll definitely be a good start. And it's really good broad spectrum, and it's one of the few antibiotics actually that's ever been approved for use in poultry and wildlife and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a good choice of drug. Especially at this point in time. The bad news is, if we're not seeing an improvement, say by Monday, please call me back.
Okay.
Okay. We'll try something different at that point in time. Like, in other words, if by Monday it's not doing any
She's
better.
sitting up
We got
better.
some a little bit of improvement, but not much. We may want to continue with antibiotic, but if no improvement, then we may want to try a different antibiotic, or we may get to the point where you're going to decide that we need to put her down.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm
But
okay with that, you know. But she's kind of full of piss and
Right.
vinegar.
And
I mean,
what's
she's
funny
a
is
little peppy.
you can see her when she's laying there. She got her eyes closed because she's dizzy. Okay, because she doesn't want to flip. As right now, she's going to
Yeah.
get to the point where she's got bed spins. Okay.
Aw.
That's what this basically feels like. If you've ever had those college nights, you know, where
Well, I did. I'm ashamed to say, but I definitely that vertigo thing. I almost killed myself. And I called in work, and they're like, "Yeah, right. I've heard it all, and whatever." And I wouldn't have believed it unless I was doing it myself, and I could not stop doing kind of what she's doing. And I'm trying to make her comfortable, so I'm leaning her on one side. I got pine mulch down
that's helping.
next to where the other birds are.
Mm-hmm.
And then just every couple of hours, I move her and give her little scrambled eggs, or I'm trying to put electrolytes in water, and just I'm like doing everything. But,
So we're gonna try this antibiotic. All right.
And then I guess I was scared she had worm. So this kind of inner ear thing is not, or whatever it is not that uncommon. I mean, it's because it's so humid. Like, do you think that's what that other hen had?
It usually has to do with either one, a new bacteria in the environment, or their immune response is low for whatever reason that makes them susceptible. Since she is laying eggs, just
Well, she
the
was, yeah.
whole process of being a female in itself means that your that your immune response can be lowered at some point for any one of a number of reasons, or chemicals and enhancements.
Aw.
Enhancements would not be a term I would use very often.
Yeah. She's listening to you.
But see, right now
So
she's at the
it's
point
okay
where
if
she's
she lies like this, or this is wasted?
short term.
I mean,
Okay, short, but I would like to see her a little bit more sternal when you set her up. I think you're on the right track
yeah,
when
like
you
she
have her at home.
opens her eyes and she's kind of almost like
Occasionally,
this.
she's going to open her eyes. She's going to try and reach out to the world and try and do things, and then her body's going to go
And
back
she
into that bed
moves,
spin.
and
move.
I even just put an umbrella kind of over where she was hanging out because she kind of has a little shady spot. Okay, so I missed last Thursday. Is this the only place? I kept calling Sochet. And
I
was
will be
hoping
at
they would
Socha
see me. They
tomorrow
wouldn't.
doing a
You do that
surgery.
Friday or just sometime?
Just sometimes. I'm going there to do a bone surgery tomorrow. I'll be back here Saturday. I work here like
I
every
live
other
a
Saturday.
block away. This is driving me crazy. I wish you were here. You weren't here last Saturday.
Actually, I was.
I could have come Saturday. But I mean, I don't know why I have an appointment for Thursday. I don't know when I spoke to him or whatever. I was missing, and there was someone, Zaraka. Who was that? Zakara Zaraka.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently she kind of maybe birds, exotic, whatever. She's getting married. She wasn't in. No one does birds on Monday. I know that. And then I don't know how I missed the Thursday thing. I think I thought it was Wednesday and missed Thursday. And I had no idea you came in on Friday. So
Yeah, last
but
week I
you're
was
the
here
poobah.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay, they didn't say that. They definitely just said Thursday. And I
Okay.
spoke to Angel and somebody else. And I also tried to call last night to confirm, which didn't work, so they need to check the voicemail.
Okay.
And so you called me, was that your phone number? You called me and said the duck, can I palpate the hip or whatever? It was a return call because I was, it was Monday.
That probably
or it
is
was
my
like
phone number,
Monday, and they're like saying come on Thursday. So I was like, I was like, okay, well, I'm coming Thursday. I'm just, that's kind of probably when I decided to stop.
All right, we have a plan.
Okay.
Just pray to whatever God you pray to. We'll give the medication, and if we don't see any improvement by Monday, we'll make a decision to try something else or try something else.
I didn't want to go crazy, but she's like got enough fight in her that it seems like she's trying. Like if it's reversible, why not? And then
Right.
also, like if it's happened more than once, I kind of need to have a clue. I mean, so it doesn't just some kind of horrible disease spreading everywhere. And just every now and then, one of them did that.
Right. Okay. See you where, Cheeky.
All right.